your boss gets caught exaggerating his department's results to the corporate office. And instead of doing the right thing or giving you the actual bonuses he promised, he pulls out the most chaotic distraction ever. He literally plays mind games with your coworkers, hands them cheap fake trinkets as rewards, and because they are so desperate for a win, they actually thank him. It is pure corporate delusion. But wait, before we dive into the mess of chapter 16, we have to talk about the chisme that went down in chapter 15. So last week, our favorite squad finally made it back to the Emerald City after doing all the heavy lifting. They literally melted a witch, but when they went to collect their hard-earned reward, the wizard completely ghosted them. They finally forced their way into the throne room and discovered that the great and powerful Oz is not a terrifying giant head or a ball of fire. He's just a little old man behind a screen. He's been catfishing the entire kingdom this whole time. He admitted he's a total fraud, leaving our squad completely shocked and with zero answers. Hola, hi everyone, and welcome back to Valeria's Couch Club. I'm Valeria, and these are the stars of the show, Lynn and Ramona. If you're here to practice our English together or finally finish a classic book, you are in the right place. Every Monday, we sit down together for a brand new chapter. So, grab your blanket, light your candle, get comfortable, and let's see if this fake manager can actually deliver on his promises or is he about to give our squad the ultimate corporate runaround. Let's dive in. Before we begin, I would like to shout out to my bestie, Injecanic, for the cute unicorn on our table. Thank you for adding some extra magic to the club. Now let's begin. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Pictures by W. W. Denslow. Chapter 16, The Magic Art of the Great Humbug. Next morning, the Scarecrow said this to his friends. Congratulate me! I am going to Oz to get my brains at last. When I return, I shall be as other men are. I have always liked you as you were, said Dorothy simply. It is kind of you to like a scarecrow, he replied, but surely you will think more of me when you hear the splendid thoughts my new brains is going to turn out. Then he said goodbye to them all in a cheerful voice and went to the throne room where he rapped upon the door. Come in, said Oz. The scarecrow went in and found the little man sitting down by the window, engaged in deep thought. I have come for my brains, remarked the scarecrow a little uneasy. Oh yes, sit down in that chair, please, replied Oz. You must excuse me for taking your head off, but I shall have to do it in order to put your brains in their proper place. That's all right, said the scarecrow. You are quite welcome to take my head off, as long as it will be a better one when you put it on again. So the wizard unfastened his head and emptied out the straw. Then he entered the back room and took up a measure of bran, which he mixed with a great many pins and needles. Having shaken them together thoroughly, he filled the top of the scarecrow's head with the mixture and stuffed the rest of the space with straw to hold it in place. When he had fastened the scarecrow's head on his body again, he said to him, Hereafter you will be a great man, for I have given you a lot of brand new brains. The scarecrow was both pleased and proud of the fulfillment of his greatest wish, and having thanked us warmly, he went back to his friends. Dorothy looked at him curiously. His head was quite bulged out at the top with brains. How do you feel? She asked. I feel wise indeed, he answered earnestly. When I get used to my brains, I shall know everything. Why are those needles and pins sticking out of your head? Asked the Tin Woodman. That is proof that he is sharp, remarked the lion. Well, I must go to Oz and get my heart, said the Woodman. So he walked to the throne room and knocked at the door. Come in, called Oz, and the Woodman entered and said, I have come for my heart. Very well, answered the little man. But I shall have cut a hole in your breast so I can put your heart in the right place. I hope it won't hurt. Oh no, answered the woodman. I shall not feel it at all. So Oz brought a pair of tinsmith's shears and cut a small square in the left side of the Tin Woodman's breast. Then, going to a chest of drawers, he took out a pretty heart made entirely of silk and stuffed with sawdust. Isn't it a beauty? He asked. It is indeed, replied the woodman, who was greatly pleased. But is it a kind heart? Oh, very, answered Oz. He put the heart in the woodman's breast and then replaced the square of tin, soldering it neatly together where it had been cut. There, said he, now you have a heart that any man might be proud of. I'm sorry I had to put a patch on your breast, but it really couldn't be helped. Never mind the patch, exclaimed the happy woodman. I am very grateful to you and shall never forget your kindness. Don't speak of it, replied Oz. Then the Tin Woodman went back to his friend, who wished him every joy on account of his good fortune. The lion now walked to the throne room and knocked the door. Come in, said Oz. I have come for my courage, announced the lion, entering into the room. Very well, answered the little man. I will get it for you. He went to a cupboard and reaching up to a high shelf, took down a square green bottle, the contents of which he poured into a green gold dish, beautifully carved. Placing this before the cowardly lion, who sniffed it as he did not like it, the wizard said, Drink. What is it? Asked the lion. Well, answered Oz, if it were inside of you, it would be courage. You know, of course, that courage is always inside one, so that this really cannot be called courage until you have swallowed it. Therefore, I advise you to drink it as soon as possible. The lion hesitated no longer, but drank till the dish was empty. How do you feel? Asked Oz. Full of courage, replied the lion, who went joyfully back to his friends to tell them of his good fortune. Oz, left to himself, smiled to think his success in giving the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman and the lion exactly what they thought they wanted. Ay, mi amor. How can I help being a humbug? He said. Well, all these people make me do things that everybody knows can be done. It was easy to make the Scarecrow and the lion and the woodman happy because they imagined I could do anything. But it will take more than imagination to carry Dorothy back to Kansas, and I'm sure I don't know how it can be done. And that was chapter 16. Ay, por favor, can we talk about the absolute audacity of this man? He literally handed out fake brains, a seal heart, and a cup of courage like he was passing out free samples at Costco. Honestly, this fake until you make it energy is kind of iconic. Let's see if we can use this chaotic chapter to level up our English. It's time for my absolute favorite part, Palabras con personality. Placebo. Placebo. This is a cognate. Remember what these are? When someone gives you a fake solution that only works because you think it works, is the ultimate mind over matter trick. This is literally the entire chapter. The wizard doesn't actually have brains or courage to give. He gives them sawdust and pins and tells them it's magic. My toxic boss giving us pizza party instead of a raise is a total placebo for our burnout. Gimmick. Truco o artilugio. A flashy cheap trick or a silly feature used to attract attention or trick people rather than offering real value. The seal heart stuffed with sawdust that the wizard pins on the woodman, a total marketing gimmick to make him look like a miracle worker. I bought that viral skincare stick from TikTok, but it turned out to be a total gimmick. Gullible, crédulo o ingenuo. To go means to trick or cheat someone easily. If someone is gullible, it means they trust people too quickly and fall for everything. The wizard literally admits in this chapter that he can easily go the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Woodman because they are so innocent and desperate to believe them. Don't be so gullible, bestie. If an online store is selling designer bags for $10, it's a scam. Now we're speaking English with alma and personality because even though the wizard literally handed our squad a bunch of cheap tricks, he proved something major. Sometimes the magic isn't in what a toxic boss gives you, it is in believing in yourself all along. If you enjoy your little reading session today, please leave a like and subscribe to Valeria's Couch Club. Also, tell me in the comments if you were the Scarecrow, the Teen Woodman, or the Cowardly Lion, will you have accepted those fake Placebo rewards for the wizard, or will you have demanded something real? Let me know in the comments. Stay cozy and see you on the couch for the next one. Adios!